Yeah, man, it's your boy Alfred once again, and welcome back. Welcome to another Wakati Avenue video. And today's topic, I'll be talking on the importance of being assertive as a man. That's really assertiveness versus passiveness, being assertive. Now, it's very important for a man to be assertive, because being assertive means that you actually know exactly what you want, and you are not afraid to get it or even ask for it. You're being assertive, and as a man you need to be assertive in this world, because the world wants you passive. You see, the world, the way society is created nowadays, one man who are passive. When you're passive, you're not aggressive, you don't take action. Most people like that are the ones who actually get rewarded for by society, because they're not a threat. If you're not aggressive, you are just passive, and goody shoe. You're not taken as a threat, right? So that's how society wants you to be. However, that does not work for man. Naturally, men are aggressive. Naturally, men are actually very much assertive, right? And we are not passive. Females, right? Women and children are the ones who are passive, because they're not yet grown into the aggression and whatever they're supposed to be doing to serve themselves and society. Now, to get things clear, right, when I'm speaking on aggression, I'm not talking about being aggressive towards people. It's pretty obvious, man. This toxic aggression, toxic man thing, in fact, that's just a fallacy in itself, right? So I'm not going to talk about that. When I'm talking about aggression, I'm talking about going for and taking action towards what you want to get as a man and who you want to be it in, for example, you want a type of body, you want those massive muscles, you have to be aggressive with that. You have to pump iron, whether you like it or not, right? Or at least do any sort of resistant training, right? That in itself is aggressive. You have to be aggressive enough to do those heavy pumps, heavy weights, or even just your body weight. If you're doing calisthenics, or they're doing just body weights or light weights, still you need to be aggressive enough to actually lift yourself up, or lift whatever you're lifting. That's aggression, right? If you're moving towards your goals, you have to be aggressive, because the world won't take you seriously if you're not aggressive enough, right? If you want to, for example, study a business, you still have to be aggressive with it, right? You need to know where you're going to be getting suppliers. All that needs action, which is in itself is aggression. Now, the problem is aggression in itself has been given a bad rap. That's why I'm titling this video assertive, which is more or less the same thing, right? It's just that with assertiveness, you are more specific and it's more tailored to who you are, right? And exactly what you want, right? So the gist of it is not to be passive. If you have to take action towards something, you have to. Don't be too passive. Yes, there is time for recovery, there is time for rest, there is time for vacation, but that should be in a minimum as a man. There's no time. There are people out there who are not sleeping. You know what I'm saying? They're not sleeping. They're on their purpose. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing, because it's how life is supposed to go. If you want to get something out of life, you have to put in something. You can't be a freeloader in life and expect to grow as a man. It's not going to happen. Leave the freeloaders. If you see someone getting certain things in a certain way, leave them to be, because at the end of the day, they are not learning anything. You're not going to learn anything by just being a freeloader, and getting things easy. Right? You have to work for yours, because the way we as men, as humans are wired, we are wired for reward. Right? We are wired for reward, but that's after putting in something, after doing work, after giving something, or after doing something that takes a very part of a large part of our energy or even resources. Right? That's time, energy. That's when the reward system is actually in balance. But if you're a freeloader, you're not taking action, you're passive, you're just rewarding yourself, which is very dangerous as a man. And this is one thing that society doesn't warn a lot of men about. Right? Freeloading and wanting things easy is very dangerous. It's dangerous in the manner that you tend to be, you're eventually going to be lethargic. Right? You're not going to be action oriented, and when the time comes for you to take action, because whether you like it or not, as a man, that time will come, because you'll need to do something. Right? So whether you're a freeloader or just a passive motherfucker who just sits around, does nothing all day, right, there'll come a time when now you need to take action. You need to be an action oriented person. Now the trap here is that we usually think that when that time comes, it should be that beneficial time whereby, for example, I get a job, that's when I'm going to take action. For example, when I have the time to go to the gym, that's when I'm going to take action. For example, when the time is right, I see that chick that I like, right, and she is free that moment, she's alone, that's the time to take action. No, the time to take action is that you set goals. Even when you don't have the job, you set goals. You set your tasks. Right? You have to be doing things even when things are not aligned. You have to be taking action towards things that you have to be taking action on. And every man has that, because every man has desires. We have desires. We want things. Yes, fair enough, we might not have the resources, but society has blinded us to two sort of very much important resources that are actually free, and that's our energy and time. Energy and time. We might not have resources in terms of finances, at least yet, and that's the reason you have to take action. But you can use your energy and your time to actually create those finances that you want. Start a job, just do some entrepreneurship, whatever it is that, or get a skill. All that needs, right? It needs the time and energy, right? Yes, the resources might not be there, but you can at least try and do something about it. There's always something you're going to do about that. Always, right? But being passive actually will not get you there. It will never will, because you see people just seated thinking, "Oh man, I'm going to take action when." Listen, I'm also guilty of that. Procrastinating, I'm guilty. Guilty as charged. I'm going to say that, right? I'm going to be honest. We're all guilty of that, right? But the passiveness should not ever override your actions. You may put things off, right? But at the same time, there's some things that, as a man, we want to achieve, we cannot put off. We cannot. For example, you want to lose that weight. Can't wait for the right time for that. Start small. Start with 2-3 push-ups. Start with walking. Start with just running. I don't know what, just half a mile, whatever it is, right? Half a kilometer. It doesn't matter, but you have to start, and that's action. You cannot be passive, saying that, okay, I'm going to start this when this happens. No, that's too much passiveness. Always start somewhere. Always start somewhere. And always start with something. Right? So, as a man, you cannot afford to be passive. cannot. Especially as time goes on, as time goes by, things will be demanding of you. But the more you take action, the thing with action is energy. Your energy grows or it goes towards exactly what you put yourself into. The more you do things, the more it becomes easier, right? Because you're action oriented. You're acting towards whatever thing that you're trying to do or trying to create, or to the man that you want to be. So that in itself means that it's going to multiply. That energy is going to multiply, and you're going to have more of that energy on whatever you're doing. Passiveness has the opposite effect of action. The more passive you are, the more you're going to make excuses. Okay, I'm not going to do this until maybe next time. I'm not going to do this maybe until I get this. I'm not going to do this until that guy goes away. I'm not going to do this until... You're gonna get more passive, and that's why we have a lot of men who are just straight out passive. And once you start making those excuses in your head, guess what? You're just a passive man. That's what it is. Now, just a unicorn of action will take you very far, and it will separate you from the rest, from a lot of people, because people are just not willing. The average man is just not willing to do anything, giving up on themselves. An action-oriented man has not given up on himself, and that's the true sense of masculinity. Action, that's the essence. Action, we have to be taking action. So I hardly falter women for inaction. Right? Why? Because they were not made to be as active as men. They're not. Yes, society, of course, we have to go with how it is now, right? The sense of it, or the reality of it, is that women also have their part. They play their part in society. Yeah, they're going to take some position, higher positions, right in life, and in whatever society has position for them, right? Also in that's also action in their part. They have to play their part. You're gonna have CEO women. You're gonna have engineers women. You're gonna have women who are also action oriented, right? But the gist of it is that that's how society has made it to be now. But that does not mean that there's no benefit for a man to take action in whatever he wants to be. Let society have its own way. That does not stop you from taking action and creating the best version of you. That's not. If you want to see the best version of you, you have to take action. There's no shortcuts. And speaking of shortcuts, just people who like shortcuts are just passive. That's it. They're passive and dishonest to themselves, especially. You're not being dishonest to anyone else but yourself, and that's the truth. Whether you like it or not, you like shortcuts, you like things that are easy, right? Now, I'm not talking about hacks. Some things are hackable, whereby you just simplify things. But people, or majority of people, just want things that will come just easy like that. So that's passiveness in itself. So I'm going to stop there, and this has been Alfred reminding you, right, that be action oriented, be assertive, right? Assert yourself in this world. Right? It doesn't matter how, as long as you're taking action towards your goals, towards your task, towards your purpose, right? Lay them out. Once you lay them out, then it becomes easier for you to actually take that action. Know what you want. That's assertiveness. Know what you want. Know who you are to be. Know who you are. Right? Just reminding you that. And to read off passiveness. Passiveness is simply lethargic. It brings on procrastinating. It brings on laziness. And trust me, as a man, laziness should never be part of your vocab, unless all the time is that when you're pointing that out to someone. Being lazy as a man, being chilled, cool. But you can only be chilled. Remember what I said before I sign out, that you reward yourself after taking action, after doing things that you're supposed to be doing. That's when you can reward yourself. So you can chill when you've taken action, you've done the necessary work. That's when you can chill. But if not chilled, if you've not taken any work, you've not done any work, you've not taken any action towards what you're supposed, you've not ticked out those goals, then you do not deserve any sort of reward. You do not. Whether you like it or not, you do not. That's why even people who actually have cheat days when they are working out and they're creating their body, they have cheat days because they know they've gone to the gym, right? 70 to 80% of the time they've been eating what they're supposed to be eating. That's wholesome food, right? Nutritious food, right? Then after that, you've hit the gym, you've done that, you've hydrated, you've drank enough water, you know that you've progressed in your workouts, then you can get the cheat day. Eat whatever you want. But let's say for a whole month you've never hit the gym, whole fucking month, right? You're just doing nothing, right? Not working on anything, no projects, but eating cake all day, sleeping with your missus, doing all sort of nonsense, talking on the phone, talking nonsense on their phone, just rewarding your system and getting that free dopamine without actually work, and setting yourself free. It's been our friend, man, for that time. Thank you and peace.